Hey guys, this is Dave from Vanna, and you're watching Loud TV.
Shut up! Well, I'm faded, you're losing me! I can't breathe, I can't sleep! Going out of my goddamn mind!
Yeah, I always enjoy leaving the United States. It always feels a little exotic to leave. You know, I don't have a lot of friends, you know, outside of the touring world that get to travel as much as we do. And so I really enjoy it. I like to walk around the cities, kind of see everything. This morning I went and got amazing food. We play this area a lot. So I went into one of our favorite little places and got some food. I'm stuffed right now, but I'm gonna have some crepes later on too. Like, I love Paris. Paris is one of my favorite cities in Europe. This is our 6th time in Paris, I think. So we've gone everywhere. I've done the tourist stuff too. So now when we get into the area, I just walk around and get a little coffee, get some food, and just kind of hang out. And my favorite thing to do in Paris is to sit outside like cafes and people watch. It's my favorite thing to do. It's so busy. It's like, we always say it's like the low-key New York City of Europe. Because there's so many different kinds of people here, different countries, races, religions. Everyone's kind of just here, just doing their thing. Oh yeah, we've toured with Beartooth a couple times in the States, Warped Tour, whole thing. Some of our best friends in the entire world. And this tour has been nothing short of amazing. It was amazing for them to take us over here. We haven't been to Europe in 2 years. You know, and as soon as we walk out on stage and we start playing, you know, all their fans, you know, are super cool. And some of them know our band, some of them don't. But I think by the end of it, they always tell us, you have a new fan. So that's all what it's all about, man. It's just meeting new people, trying to gain new fans, trying to just share some music with some people and share a little bit of love. So this tour has been awesome. I've been smiling the whole time. And it's nice to be on tour with your best friends, you know? It's nice to spend time with people. Like, when we go home, we fly to each other's homes and we hang out and we do that whole thing. So it's nice to be on tour with, you know, the closest thing you have to family.
Shut up!
It is. It's hard not to get, you know, screwed over with contracts and what you can and cannot do and can and cannot go. But Pure Noise just lets you be who you are, and they just put your music out in the world. You know, when we signed to Pure Noise, I met Jake, the owner, on Warped Tour 2012, and I really liked his vibe. I liked everything about him, and they had a few bands, not a lot. And it was time for us to do a new record, and he was like, let me put your new record out. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then since then, he signed, you know, we were one of the first heavy bands. It was like Vanna, and there wasn't like a lot of like heavier bands, mostly pop punk, like Story So Far, State Champs, stuff like that. Rotting Out was on the label. But then he signed Stick to Your Guns, Knocked Loose, To the Wind, and just started kind of like building up their heavy side of the label too. So I'm psyched to be on a label with so many great bands. I read behind the lines. I read everything. And we've never gotten really screwed, so to say. I think that our industry deals in like nickels and dimes to what like pop and hip hop and all that stuff deal with. We've never gotten screwed. We've thankfully always worked with great labels. We were on Artery Recordings, and you know, Mike Milford is still one of my really good friends, and he never screwed our band over. He always worked with us real well. Jake at Pure Noise and everyone there is amazing. We've never gotten screwed with people. We've always worked with the most amazing people ever. We've had the same manager for 10 years. You know, we work with people who love the band and who believe in our band, and we believe in them. Yeah. You got to be fair, you know, and it's a partnership. So it's not all about you. It's also about these people and what they can do and what they want to do and their vision as well. So yeah, it's a team. That's what it is. It's a team.
Shut up!
Yeah, it's the biggest selling record for our band. You know, our first week was the biggest first week we ever had. But I think more importantly, for us, though that is so cool to be able to say, I think more importantly for us, I think it's the biggest record like kids bought and listened to and loved, you know. Void, the record before that, did really well, and we kind of felt the pressure of going into the studio, but we went to the studio with a mindset of let's just do what we want, let's just do what we love. If it feels good, let's record it, you know. And same thing with the artwork. We just loved it. If it looks good, we love it. Let's just do it, you know? And yeah, it's the best record so far, and it's the one that everyone wants to hear. And they come up to the table and say, "Are you playing?" And you cringe because they might say old songs, but they all just mention new songs. And you're like, yes, we are playing that. So it's a good feeling.
Shut up!
It's a little bit of hell. Especially on this record, I was singing a lot more and trying new things. And, you know, I don't know what everyone thinks when you hear a record. You go, oh, they sang it and they done. It's like, no. Sometimes I'm singing one sentence for 4 hours because we're just not getting it right, you know? So it can be hell on your voice, then you're away from your friends and family, you know? Both records, Void and All Hell, I flew my wife out to visit because I was like, I'm going crazy. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But yeah, it can be hell. But you know what? I think sometimes the more you put into it, the more of a strain and harder it is, the better the end result is going to be. Yeah, I think so. I think that like VOD is definitely a band that, like, when I was younger and skateboarding and stuff, I listened to all that, you know. We kind of come from a hardcore world, you know. Boston is very hardcore influenced, and so, like, you know, punk rock and hardcore is something that we always grew up on and loved. And I think our band just kind of, like, amongst a lot of bands, just kind of took it and, like, went further, you know, stick to your guns. Big hardcore influence, but Jesse's voice is beautiful, you know, and you gotta sing, you gotta do that, you gotta feel it. So I think that, you know, bands like that were a huge influence on us growing up, and I think that's something that you take with you forever in your career. Yeah, I think that a lot of things that people don't realize with vocals is most of your vocal performance is about staying hydrated and sleeping. So like today, I fell asleep I stay on America time. I can't switch over. I just don't do it. So I went to bed at like 7:30 in the morning. I'm just laying there watching movies in the bus. I wasn't doing anything. But we got here at like noon, but I woke up and I was like, nope. And it was nice because the sun was coming in the window. It felt like home. So I was like, nope. So I laid down and slept till 3. But I feel great. I feel great. We just did a sound check. My voice feels awesome. It is hard to do it sometimes, you know, but you just got to take care of yourself. You got to know when you're like, I'm not going out tonight. I'm going to go back and I'm going to sleep, or I'm not going to, I'm going to have lots of water today, no juice, no soda or anything like that. Just take care of yourself. You know, you got to know when it's time to party and when it's time to not party.
Shut up!
I've been playing music pretty much since I was 13. And I went through a pretty bad depression in my early 20s, and, you know, a whole series of, like, you know, family issues and girlfriend and, you know, a lot of stuff kind of drove me. And a lot of it was I put on myself. I did a lot to myself. It's self-destructive. And there was a time period where I forgot about music and I kind of wasn't doing it. And, you know, someone brought it to my attention, and, you know, gone through a lot, friends caring, people reaching out, and I started playing music again. And it was the only thing that got me out of my bed. It was the only thing that got me out of my home and to travel and to get out, because if, you know, if I was gonna stay in my home, I was gonna die. You know, my bed was like a coffin, you know what I mean? And, you know, it was a graveyard of a city, and I just needed to get out of it. And over time, slowly but surely, playing shows and meeting kids and other musicians, I started realizing that we all kind of share the same problems, and it was almost like therapy for me, you know, realizing that all around the world that we all kind of deal with the same sort of issues, and I felt comfort in that. And once I was able to kind of dig out of those problems through music, I was able to then start talking about those problems on a record and sharing my story with kids, and that opened it up even more. And that's why I'm such a positive guy. I didn't used to be a very positive guy. I used to be a very angry person, but music, yeah, it saved my life. It got me out of what I was going through. And you know, and sometimes it's just about finding that one thing that can, like, dig you out and pull you out. and truly make you happy, you know. And music, it makes me happy. It's my whole thing. It's everything, and I'm very open about talking about it now that, you know, it saved my life. Without music, without a band, without this stuff, I would have died. You know, I would have been dead. You know, suicide and depression is something that I think a lot of people deal with, you know, for me, it was about finding a way out of that, and music was my way out of that.
Shut up!
Well, I used to be a teacher before I was traveling in a band. I speak at schools now for a living, so I love working with kids. I was just saying earlier out there for the interview, I was trimming our flowers that we have on stage, and my aunt used to own a flower shop. And I honestly have thought about opening up a flower shop and being a florist. I really love flowers. It's something that's very therapeutic for me. So I think I would do a lot of things, you know. I think there would be a lot of things, and there's a lot of things that I do now that has nothing to do with music. You know, I own a nonprofit clothing company. I speak at schools to kids. I work in a studio and I produce music. There's a lot of things, but I found all of that stuff because of music. So I'm really grateful. So honestly, if I wasn't doing music, I don't know. I might be a little lost without it. You know what I mean?
Shut up!
Well, we put them up on stage. We have a song called Flower. And you know, that song's kind of about, it's about new beginnings. It's about second chances. And, you know, flowers are a continuous cycle, you know what I mean? A flower can die and wilt and fall on the ground and turn into a new flower over and over again. And it's something that brings people joy. It's something that's beautiful. You can just stare at flowers and just ponder life, you know what I mean? I think there's something very truly deep and great in nature, you know, and just sitting and enjoying nature. So plus all my favorite bands growing up, Nirvana, David Bowie, Brand New, they all use flowers on stage. So it's my little nod to them and homage to them, and they look really cool in pictures too.
Shut up!
Some more US touring next year for sure.
With whom?
You know, you'll see, I guess, right?
Stick to your guns.
Oh man, we've been trying to tour with that band. I just talked to Jesse a couple weeks ago. We've been trying to tour with that band. I think that's the #1 band that kids want to see us play with, is Stick to Your Guns, and we've only played one show with them ever, and that was in 2012. So it's time. I think it's time for Vanna Stick to Your Guns tour. I agree. And then we're gonna be doing a little bit of a little touring in Europe, hopefully. And some more international, cool international stuff, some festivals, hopefully trying to get to Japan. Last year our tour to Japan got canceled, so we're hopefully trying to get to Japan this year. So staying on the road. Got a couple of little projects in the works, a couple music things that might be happening, so stay tuned. It's gonna be a good year.
While the voices say